State your name.
Mike Rios.
All right, Mike Rios. How long have you been doing photography?
Picked it up as a hobby maybe 6, 7 years ago. Started really taking it seriously about about 5 years.
Okay, that's good. That's good. What are your favorite styles of photography that you like doing?
Um, Mostly street stuff. I just walk around places. I do a lot of long exposure, nighttime photography, a lot of architecture stuff, nature stuff. I do a lot of. I really don't have like a particular.
This particular style?
No, I just pretty much like if I like it, if it appeals to me, I just shoot it. That's pretty much like what I've done. So I'm not really. I'm like a jack of all trades. I don't have anything that I'm really like a specialty at. You know.
Okay. Oh, so you don't have a particular niche? Niche.
Nah, no. I mean, if I did, probably architectural and street stuff.
Okay. Can you describe the weirdest place you've ever taken a photo?
Oh wow, there's a few of them. One place, the Staten Island's Farm Colony, the old Seaview. Me and my friends, middle of the night, we'd grab all our gear, we'd rip through a fence, and we'd go into all these abandoned buildings and just take pictures of all the graffiti, all the broken staircases, stuff in the basement. Really, that's probably the weirdest place.
Okay. What brand of a camera do you currently have?
Currently, I shoot with a Sony A7 II Mark II, a Sony A7S Mark II, and I have an A6000. So everything's Sony. I used to be a Canon shooter. I was a Canon shooter for like the first 2.5, 3 years. And then I took a trip to Chicago I shot exclusively with the Canon 7D Mark II. And I went there and I came home and I went through all the pictures and I hated the way they looked. So I decided to make the jump to full frame, and that's when I went with Sony.
Nice. Did you ever go to school to learn photography? And how did you learn photography?
The funny thing is, I have a background in graphic art and design. I have a bachelor's degree in it.
Okay.
So when I was starting out, photography, it was one of the courses, that I could have used for my majors. So I actually flunked my intro to photography class. Halfway through, the professor was going to flunk me because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't understand what she was saying, so I dropped it because I would have flunked it. And then years later, I was coming off a string of and this is how I really got serious about it. I was coming off a string of breakups, and the last one really hit me hard, and I didn't know what to do with myself. So I went and I bought a cheap Canon point and shoot, and I just started walking around taking pictures, and then I started getting feedback from people, and then that's when I bought the Canon cameras, the 7D. A 70D, and then from there, that's when I made the jump to Sony. So everything was off of me coping with stuff. That's how I coped. Photography was a way to cope with everything I was going through. So even now, most of my pictures, they reflect my moods. So a lot of times I'll do darker stuff if that's how I'm feeling. If I'm feeling more optimistic, most of my work is more colorful, vibrant. So it really reflects whatever moods I'm feeling. That's why my work is all over the place, because my emotions are all over the place.
Nice. That's yeah. Just like a painter and an actual artist.
That's how I approach it.
Nice.
That's my approach. Always been my approach.
That's awesome. What inspires you to take photos?
Honestly, I've been a born and raised New Yorker. I'll be 40 next month. And for so many years, I just never, I was born in Brooklyn. I moved to Staten Island when I was 11, 12 years old. and all I wanted to do was hang out with my friends, and we never really like left the island. We never like did stuff that like say, most New Yorkers do, like walk across the Brooklyn Bridge or, go to Central Park. So what inspired me was exploring more of the city, because it's something that I never did as a kid or as an adolescent, a teen, or even a young adult. So I've probably seen more of the city and all the other boroughs. I've probably seen more of that in the last 5 years than I did like the previous 35 years of my life. So that's what gets me out. And the thing is too, like, the city's changing. Like, you see buildings getting knocked down and replaced by these gaudy, like, steel and glass, like, skyscrapers and stuff like that. So, like, even old neighborhoods that I was, that I grew up in, when I was living in Brooklyn, those places are changing. So, in a way, I'm documenting the changes,
Yeah. So, who inspired you in photography?
Oh man, I really can't think of like any particular person. Like I have like there are a number of people I follow on Instagram. I mean, the names can't come, the names don't come to me right now, but one of the things about sites like Instagram, you see all types of stuff, and sometimes you'll try to recreate it and give your spin on it, or sometimes you might see a location and you'll be like, let me go to that location and get the shot. It's not so much people, it's just really like social media. Like, I think whether it's Instagram or it's like Facebook, I'm in a number of photography groups on Facebook. Instagram, Facebook, even, up until recently, Flickr. You go to these sites and you look at stuff and it just pushes you to want to get out and, not necessarily like bite from somebody who's done it before, but no two people are going to take a picture the same way. Mm-hmm. Whereas, like, I might take a picture of the New York skyline, but it's going to look vastly different than somebody else's because their perspective is going to be different than mine. The way they edit it is going to be different than the way I edit. Mm-hmm. So it's really nobody in particular. It's just whatever I see on the internet, on social media. It could be something that followers post. It could be something that my friends on Facebook post, and I just run with that.
Nice. In the next 5 years, what would you like to do with your photography? Where will you want to be at that point in 5 years from now?
I've always toyed with the idea of, earning money from it, and I mean, it's great and all, but I occasionally do formal events, through word of mouth or, family and friends. Like they'll introduce me to people who need work done. And, there's nothing wrong with weddings or doing sweet 16s or, those types of events, but you're kind of locked into doing it a certain way. You kind of have to follow a blueprint. You have to follow like a schedule, you have to, like a wedding, you have to make sure you get the best man giving his speech. Make sure you take pictures of the bridal party. Make sure you get the cake. And it's kind of like you're following a linear path. Like, you can't really be creative with it. So I'm not really, at this point, I'm not really sure that making money of it and is a thing, because the thing is too, everybody's doing it now. Yeah. That's one of the cons. When you measure pros and cons of social media, it's like everyone thinks they can do it. And, cell phone cameras have come a long way. So a lot of people are doing it with cell phones. And then those who take it seriously, like, these entry-level cameras now, they do a lot. Yeah. And it doesn't matter, whether you're shooting with a camera that's $2,000, $2,500, $3,000, or whether you're shooting with something that's a cell phone or an entry-level camera that's like $400 or $500. The gear doesn't matter. It's the person behind the lens. That's really it.